They intentionally have wars, inflation, issues around energy, everything. I mean, this is very typical for these transitions. What I'm suggesting is that
Ready to unlock the secrets to financial resilience? Join Lynette Zhang in our latest video as she uncovers how strategic asset positioning can secure your wealth during economic shifts. From analyzing recent events like NYCB's equity raise, to highlighting the power of income-producing assets and precious metals, this video is your roadmap to safeguarding your financial future. Don't miss out. Tune in now and empower yourself to thrive in any market condition.
every now and again, well, actually, this is true constantly. You know that we're executing a strategy, and this strategy is based upon repeatable patterns that have happened every single time historically. And one of the goals and one of the challenges that we have is to transition our wealth from this system into the next system. So when I find a way to show you how to do that by real-time example, that's exactly what I like to do. Now, it is not yet time for you and I to do that. We do that by holding our purchasing power intact and being at the right place at the right time with the right asset. So this lies in our future, and I can't tell you exactly when, likely within the next 5 years though. But what I can tell you is if you pay attention, just a little different, which is what I'm going to show you today, you'll start to see the strategy for yourself. And we're going to see that cup formation. That's how we're going to know that smart money has identified the opportunity around income producing assets. So let's just rock and roll and see where we go, because we talked last week about New York City Bank or Community Bank and how they were failing. That was a failed bank. But hey, private equity to the rescue. And we've talked a lot about private equity as well and the danger that it actually poses to the completely incestuous and interconnected financial system. But let's just stay on this topic because I really want to show you the wealth transfer. So NYCB raises more than $1 billion in equity led by Steve Mnuchin's firm. Now, you might remember that Steve Mnuchin was the Treasury Secretary under President Donald Trump. So somebody that's been around for a while, a name that we recognize. Struggling lender names Joseph Otting as Chief Executive Order. These guys are a pair. They are a team. They have done this kind of thing before, and they have an awful lot of connections with the government, right? So outside is just a revolving door at any rate. So the capital injection was led by Mnuchin's Liberty Strategic Capital, Hudson Bay Capital, and Reverence Capital Partners. NYCB said in a statement, blah, blah, blah. So they shares erased an earlier plunge after the announcement. So you could say that this is another form of a bailout, but this is private equity going in, buying a bank, and now having that charter. Wealth transfer. How Trump's ex-Treasury chief landed 2024's highest profile U.S. bank deal. Ex-Treasury Secretary and Comptroller attempt the rescue, and the duo, once knocked for foreclosures, are backed by overseas cash. It's another reunion of the duo with a track record of stirring up controversy as they chase returns. Before their posts in Trump's administration, Mnuchin led an investor group that bought failed mortgage lender IndyMac. And you guys, some of you might remember that. It wasn't that long ago, really. After the 2008 financial crisis, and rebranding it One West, installed Otting as CEO. So they're running this same playbook right now. By the time they cashed out at more than double their purchase price, the lender was beset with accusations it had hurt communities as a foreclosure machine. So what are they really interested in? They're interested in profits. They're not interested in taking care of the community or stabilizing. And you should never let a good crisis go to waste. So you have to understand, wealth never disappears. It merely shifts location. And what we're going through right now, transitioning from a paper debt-backed currency into a digital surveillance-backed currency, is definitely a crisis that is unfolding. That's why you see so many things going on. They intentionally have wars, inflation, issues around energy, everything. I mean, this is very typical for these transitions. What I'm suggesting is that with the strategies, since we know these patterns, that you simply get into a position to hold your purchasing power so that when these opportunities present, just like they're doing, except we can do it in a much nicer way. We can do it in a way that actually brings benefit to the community, but we can have the wealth transition our way and be actually better off after this. So I just wanted to go back in time for just a minute. Now this goes to 2016, so that's 8 years after the great financial crisis. Donald Trump's nominee for Treasury Secretary made millions buying failed IndyMac and has resume at odds with President-elect's campaign rhetoric. Well, blah. Okay. But a crisis always creates that wealth transfer opportunity. That's really the point that I want to make in here. As long as you are in the right place at the right time with the right asset. And in this case, since this is a transition, it really is about making sure that you can hold your purchasing power as they hyperinflate away the rest of the purchasing power, the little bit that's left in the current system. And look at what's happening here, right? You have central banks that are buying gold while investors sell it. Isn't that interesting? Now they're talking about investors. I'm not selling my gold. But what they're talking about is paper gold because it is intangible. There is something about holding a real gold coin in your hand. If you've never done it, make sure that you get a chance to do it because it has weight and it has substance and it's used on a global basis and it's been money for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And central bankers know this. They know that in order to retain their freedom and their choices and their autonomy, they have to have gold. Because if they're dependent completely on the system, well, that doesn't work very well. Because not only do desperate governments make desperate choices, but desperate public also makes desperate choices. So they want to be in a position to retain their freedoms. And isn't that where you and I really want to be as well? Because really, frankly, who knows more about what they're doing to the currency system than the central banks? They're getting into position. That should be so obvious. So you got to ask yourself, why are central banks buying more gold than they ever have in recorded history? You ask yourself that question? Because those that hold this and have food, water, energy, security, barterability, which is, for me, is silver and foodstuffs and all this stuff. Wealth preservation, which is right here. Community, which is arguably the most important part, and shelter. So please, I suggest you get it done as quickly as possible. That's what the central banks are doing. How about you?
That concludes our deep dive into the realm of financial resilience. A big shout out to all our new and returning viewers. We truly appreciate your support and engagement. Now, before you go, we'd love to hear your thoughts and insights. Drop a comment below to share your takeaways. And don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video valuable. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Together, Let's continue building a community of informed investors and empowered individuals. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep conquering new heights. Thank you.